And I don't know if you need it, but just in case you do, I'm allowing anger. You are right to feel anger.
I would hope.
You are correct to feel anger. This is not one of those situations where you have to be the cool fan. I don't overreact on a Monday. I give it context. It's not as bad as you'd think. You have the right to be angry. And the funniest part about the conversation that we just started is I haven't yet said what fans of what team I'm talking about yet, because it applies to them all. If you are a Panthers fan, you should be angry that they lost the Bears game. If you're an NC State fan, you should be angry that you lost a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter to Wake. If you are UNC and you're a Tar Heel fan, you should be angry that your team finally played a normal game and still got pushed around. And if you're a Duke fan, you should be angry that your undefeated season came to an end with another team doing you better than you can do. You got out-duked by Georgia Tech. You should be angry. This is not one of those, the coach in the post game, we're going to watch the film and I think we're going to see it's one or two plays. It is enough that you should show some fury. We'll start with the Panthers. Just because it didn't look close doesn't mean that game had to be that way. Just because it didn't look close doesn't mean that if you play that 100 times, that's how it's going to happen 99 out of 100. The offense still can't connect on deep balls. The Panthers ran the ball decent. Chuba Hubbard did a good job. The offensive line, especially when they were healthy, opened up some holes. Mm-hmm. The issue is the pass offense can't get the ball downfield. I'm going to give you a stat here that made me furious. Bryce Young this year averaged 4.81 yards per attempt. 4.81 yards per attempt was enough to bench the number one overall pick 2 games into the season. Andy Dalton in Week 5 versus Chicago, 4.85 yards per attempt. 4.81 to 4.85. Dave Canales, their head coach, thinks they got beat in every critical area. That's what he said earlier today to the media.
The third down story in there kind of gets, washed out because of the explosive plays and changing the field and the turnovers. So, and then in the red zone, we're 0 for 2. They were 3 out of 4 touchdowns there. So in every single critical area that lead to success on Sunday, we got beat. And, from a coaching standpoint, we're looking at our schemes. We're evaluating all that. The players, they want to get their execution right. They want to work on the fundamentals of our principles and our calls.
Yeah, I agree. Everything should be looked at. Quite a bit of mirror gazing for you, Dave Canales.
Oh, yeah.
NC State, let's go there next. 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. There is no excuse. There is no excuse. And Wake Forest, by the way, has, I believe, a pretty decent offense, but they are very good at passing the ball. Even they looked at you and said, we can push you around. Coming into the game, Wake Forest was top 5 in the ACC in passing yards, bottom 5 in the ACC in rushing yards. Guess what they did to push you around once they fell behind in the fourth quarter? Run the ball. So that's a team whose strength is not running. Looked at your defense and said, I don't know why we're messing around with this whole passing thing. Let's just run the football. Same on the opposite side. They stopped the run. NC State should never get out-trenched, should not be beaten both trenches by Wake Forest. You have the right to be angry. You should be angry. UNC. By the way, we'll come back to NC State quickly here next segment, so don't think I'm breezing by. There's plenty of time for the Wolfpack.
Oh, there's a lot of time.
For UNC, this was the most normal game of UNC season. That's what I've been craving. That's what you can predict what happens in a quote-unquote normal game when you're not playing the quarterback shuffle, when you're not giving up or having to commit a very, very big come-from-behind game, when you don't have anything crazy. You don't have chaotic turnovers. You don't have punt returns going in both directions or punt block returns going in both directions. When this is happening in the absence of chaotic turnovers, in the absence of quarterback switches, or anything else dramatic and chaotic, it fell on the normal stuff. And UNC lost those. Significantly less efficient in the passing game, significantly worse on 3rd and 4th down. The things that coaches point to win and lose games, you lost. 3rd down conversions. 3rd down conversions. You're going to allow Pitt to go, 9 of 14 on 3rd down? Sorry, 9 of 16 on 3rd downs, but one of them they converted on 4th. They went 1 for 1 on 4th down. Meanwhile, you go 5 of 15 on 3rd down, 2 of 6 on 4th down. That's, quite frankly, not allowed. Duke got out-duked by Georgia Tech. Coming into this game, Duke was 5-0, and how did they do it? They kept it close. They weren't always ahead at the end, but they kept it close. They kept it close long enough to then trust their instincts, trust their grit, trust their toughness, trust Jordan Moore, trust Malik Murphy to make one more play than the others. Georgia Tech even fell behind Duke and then leaned on their running game, just as we saw Duke do to UConn, just as we saw Duke do to Northwestern, just as we saw Duke do to UNC. Only this time it was Georgia Tech doing it to Duke. You know the playbook. Wait. This is what we face in practice. This was a rough one all the way around. And when I say you should be angry, what I mean by that is there's a lot of games in sports that the team will never admit it, the coaches will never admit it, but fans can kind of, in a moment of truth, look at it and go, oh, they're just better than us.
Oh, yeah.
They had more talent. They were schemed up better. They had more experience. They're a better team. I believe the 3 triangle ACC teams and the Florida Panthers, goodness gracious, and the Carolina Panthers all lost games in differing but stinging ways. And I don't believe any of the fan bases should realistically look at each other and go, hey, at least they tried, but we didn't really have a chance in that one. Hey, they gave it the good old-fashioned effort, but, there was going to take something crazy happening for us to win that one. No, all of the games, as I watched them, I was going, why aren't they winning? And those are the ones that should induce anger. Those are the ones when you just, it was right there, you left it on the table and you walked away. 4 for 4. It's really frustrating because, we do it like the anti-fan way. I just need someone in the area to play well. Boost my day. People ask me, who are you a fan of? I'm like, professionally, I want interesting, and I want everyone in our region to be good.
I want them all to win, to be honest.
Exactly. This is brutal. There's no oasis in the desert of dumb losses. Every fan of football that is a fan of the Panthers, NC State, Duke, or Carolina should today be feeling like they need answers, should today be feeling like something needs to change, and you want to see it on the field. And with football, you have to wait a week to see it, but man, there better be some changes. Right, Dave Canales saying everything's being looked at. You're darn right everything should be looked at. And by the way, some of those changes are going to be involuntary because there's so many injuries, of which Carolina couldn't afford. They were already due to years of poor roster management that they're trying to come back from, right? Previous regime and all of that. They were already thin at important positions. Now you're seeing center Austin Corbett out for the year, Taylor Moton out for at least the week, and he's going to be week to week moving forward. You're going to see
Clowney and Leggett are kind of day to day with dealing with shoulder stuff. Tommy Tremble concussion protocol.
They couldn't afford. They weren't playing good football with everybody.
Yeah,
it's the right time to be angry.